Hello, and we are back with our Batman, the animated series episodes commentary. And today's going to be a different episode. We're going to break the routine of doing the episodes in sequence. And we're going to go back to an episode that I promised I would do a commentary in the future, in the Christmas time, because this is a Christmas episode. Christmas with the Joker. So I skipped that episode before, but now it's time to do it because of these special moments in the year. All right? So, as usual, let's do our countdown so we can watch these episodes together. If you have your DVD box set or Blu ray box set or a streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, in 3, 2, 1, let's go. The Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. And yes, Christmas with the Joker. This is an episode that I never understood why it was placed as the second episode of the whole show, at least in my DVD box set, and I believe also in the streaming services. This is the second episode in the original chronology. It never felt to me that this episode was really the second story in the chronology of this show. I mean, if we go back, the first episode, the actual first episode is On Leather Wings with the Man-Bat, and it really feels like the introduction of the character Batman and his universe. We have a long sequence with the Batmobile because it's the introduction of the new Batmobile. And then the supposed second, in my opinion, the one that should be the second one is Nothing to Fear with the Scarecrow. It really feels like the second episode in the show. But then we have this Joker episode in between that feels so out of place. And it's not a great story as well, because right after the Scarecrow episode, we also have another Joker story, another Joker episode. And this is another proof or evidence that this episode here feels very out of place in the chronology. But anyway, the episode starts with the Joker singing with the inmates of Arkham Asylum the Christmas Carol songs, and then he, completely unexplained, he puts the star on top of the Christmas tree in the yard, and the Christmas tree has a rocket beneath it that fires and just breaks the skylights of Arkham Asylum, and he runs away, flying in the Christmas tree. That's so goofy and so stupid that it never really sink into with me, this idea of, how he escapes. So this is why I always felt this episode, I don't know, what is it doing here? It's so goofy. Then we get to the Bat cave with Batman and Robin. Robin is also in this episode. And again, it's so unusual to throw Robin right away here in the show, even though he never had a origin story to begin with. He's also thrown into the mix of the story some episodes later, and then he gets his origin way after with Robin's Reckoning. But here he's already making an appearance because it's a Christmas episode, so it's a more child-friendly story. So it makes sense to have to have Robin in here. By the way, it's an episode that I don't know about the animation. I'm a little iffy, but I kind of like it because it's charming. It has this old feeling of a Warner's animation from the 90s. Plus, the whole setting of Christmas, personally, is something that I really love in any Batman story. But here, the animation, the backgrounds of the of Gotham City and the people in the Christmas and the streets and the lights and the snow. It's very beautiful. It's really, really gorgeous, and it really has the perfect mix of the gothic nature of the city and the Christmas setting, right? So Batman and Robin, uh, they went to the streets to check if there were any crimes happening, and nothing was happening. In fact, they almost think that this boy was gonna steal an old lady's purse, and uh, Batman almost attacks the kid, or he jumps onto the scene, but then he realizes that the boy was just returning the purse to the old lady, so he hides. So then they go back to the mansion, and they're gonna watch A Wonderful Life. uh, they're gonna watch a reprisal of It's a Wonderful Life on TV, but then the broadcast is interrupted by the Joker announcing that he is going to do something very bad for Christmas. And then we get this scene where there is a tank with a Santa Claus above it, and this Santa Claus crushes cars on the streets. I mean, the tank with the Santa Claus, and then some fireworks announce again the Christmas with the Joker, which is the show. I mean, this is actually the introduction to the show that Joker is presenting, which again is a very common element of this character. The fact that he uses TV broadcasts to announce his evil deeds, and it's pretty cool. The fact that we have this in Batman 89 with the Joker on TV. Then we have this in The Dark Knights with Heath Ledger's Joker as well. And here is not different. And apparently, this is gonna be a big problem for Batman, because he already jumps back in the suit and back to the Batmobile to be ready for whatever the Joker is coming up with. So yeah, very, very I mean, a very simple story, very simple plot, but one that it's fun. It's fun. What we're gonna see next is Batman having to deal with many traps that the Joker set in many places in the city. And this is interesting. This is fun because we're going to see many action scenes with Batman and Robin trying to stop the evil deeds of the Joker. And in the show, Joker has 3 hostages that he kidnapped. Commissioner Gordon, Summer Gleason, the reporter, and Harvey Bullock. And he puts them in this wrap-up present paper, and Harvey Bullock has this baby hat on his head, which is very funny. It's an episode that I also feel it's strange, because how the hell the Joker gets so many resources to be, to have so many things. He has bombs, and he has a tank. He has an entire TV station for him, which is also something that the Batman will have to deal with. So this is another element of the episode that always made me a little iffy. You gotta understand, I actually don't remember this episode being broadcast on TV when I was a kid. I remember this is something that plays a part in me not recognizing this episode as the second one in the chronology, because when I was a kid, I remember On Leather Wings being broadcast on TV, and right after Nothing to Fear with the Scarecrow. And I don't remember this episode being broadcast in between. So when I bought the DVD box set, which is what I am watching now, I got very confused when I saw this episode right there. And I initially thought, is this gonna be out of order? So I watched this one, then I watched Nothing to Fear, and then I realized, no, these episodes are in order. The order they were broadcasting my TV channel here in Brazil when I was a kid. But, this episode was stuck in between. And so, yeah, I have no memory of this episode as a kid. I eventually only watched it when I bought the DVD box set, like I'm saying. And so yeah, it doesn't have any nostalgia factor for me in this regard, because I only watched it so much time later. And by the way, when I bought these DVDs, I was about, I don't know, 18 or something. And the Batman that was very prevalent at the time was the Nolan, right? Batman. So I was more keen to the whole realistic nature of Batman. So by watching an episode so goofy as this one, it didn't sit well with me. But now I can appreciate it much more. And here we have the scene that I was talking about with Batman stopping a train in the tracks in the snowy mountains. Very cool action scene, by the way. And Robin proves himself to be very useful in this scene because he detaches the cars of the train behind, and only the car with the machinist is left, which Batman saves, jumps out of the car, and the idea is that the Joker, he had exploded the bridge, so there was a gap which the train was gonna fall. So Batman saved the only person inside the train. Very cool scene, by the way. And then we have this whole, Christmas setting with Batman going from place to place, and I love it. I think it's pretty awesome. And now they are going after a huge gift box that is near, I think is near the TV station that the Joker's probably in. But Batman and Robin don't realize that this is a trap, because the observatory is an observatory, by the way. It has a cannon. Way before Mr. Freeze transformed an observatory telescope into a freeze gun, the Joker had transformed the telescope into a cannon, a fire cannon. And it's very cool that in the midst of this action scene with Batman running away from the cannon, shooting at him and Robin, Joker calls for commercials. And it actually is the pause for commercials, which is great. The animation in this episode is also very erratic and not so concise as the future episodes, because again, this is probably one of the first ones that was animated. And so it's very erratic, very 90s style of animation, which is very detailed as well. I like that. The details in the characters is very well done. But the movements of the characters and their emotion is very erratic. The animation improves a lot in this regard in the future episodes. But like I said, there is a charm to it. This first version of the animation, which is something that, it changes a lot in Batman the Animated Series. If you watch the whole series, there are episodes that are very well animated. Some episodes are terribly animated. For example, Batman here, he gets, in some shots he's a little smaller, but in some shots he's also very bulky. So it's a element of this early stages of the animation. Yeah, the symbol gets bigger and smaller in his chest. It's great, I don't perceive this as a problem. I love the charm of this early animation, how rough it was and kind of quirky. And meanwhile, the Joker still provokes them and teases them with commercial calls on TV, and it's very, very funny. Again, I do believe that the next episode with the Joker, or at least in my opinion, the first episode with him in this show, is the last laugh, is the perfect introduction of the character here in this series. Because if you remember, and I mentioned this when I commented the last laugh early in this year, when the camera shows the Joker for the first time, it actually pans up with him, dressing and putting his makeup in front of a mirror. So there is this kind of very brief suspense, or a very brief moments before the revealing shot, when he turns to the camera and says his first dialogue line. So that's the introduction of the Joker here. There's no mystery. There's no sense of introduction, because like I said in the beginning of the episode, he is singing Christmas carol songs with the other inmates of Arkham. That's it. This is not good, and this is something that, changing a little the subject, but the other animation series, the second best animation series of Batman, the Batman from 2004, really understood in terms of presenting these characters. You got to make an introduction first before they actually becoming a prevalent part of this superhero's life. For example, the Joker, the first episode features the Joker in an introduction. Then we have the Penguin, the Bane, Riddler, all these characters, Catwoman. They are all introduced first before you can actually play with them in different kinds of stories, right? And here, sometimes in Batman the Animated Series, we don't get that. Most of the villains, we do get an introduction, but usually they already are part of this world. And not necessarily we need these characters to be introduced in an animation series, for example, but it always feels nice when they are. The Joker, for example, never really got an introduction in the show, or we never got to see how he became the Joker. I think there are snippets of an origin story in way later in the show, where we actually discover that he was, tossed by Batman into a acid tank, but it's never really, something that is prevalent in the story, which I kind of miss it, but okay. So then we have Batman and Robin escaping many traps. They fought some toys. They are in a toy factory, so they are fighting many toys. And after they defeat these toys, the giant toys, some Joker's goons, completely out of character. They look like mob gangster goons instead of Joker's goons. They start to fire machine guns at Batman. and he uses his cape to deceit these goons. And anyway, this last section of the episode is completely unmemorable for me. It's not the best stuff, especially because the end is kind of similar to the last laugh. We have the Joker. Um, Now he's threatening Batman by tossing Commissioner Gordon, Summer Gleason, and Bullock into a lava, or it looks like lava tank. Uh, they're all trapped in there, and Batman has to save them. And if you remember in the last laugh, it's the same idea. There is a lava, a river underneath a Joker, and the in the place that they have the last fight. And here, at least there is this very funny bit where the Joker tosses a gift box to Batman, and he opens it, and there is this cake that immediately is thrown in his face, and it's a very funny scene, especially because the Joker burst out laughing of Batman having his face, uh, you know, masked by pie. Um, so then there is this very stupid chase in the end. Joker climbs some stairs, and he steps on a roller skate, and he slips and almost falls into the lava tank. But then Batman gets him. And this is it. Then we have the ending where finally Robin and Batman, or Bruce and Dick, watch It's a Wonderful Life, um, with Alfred bringing them some drinks. And then we have a final shot with Joker back at the Arkham Asylum, singing a Christmas carol by himself on the solitary with a straitjacket. Yeah, whatever. It's not an episode that I like very much, but it's part of the show. So, like I said, I was supposed to wait for Christmas to do this one, and now I did it. So now we can move on. And this is it. Thank you so much if you are watching the content of BATGUS and this episode's commentaries. If you are liking all these contents, please don't forget to leave your wonderful like in this video and your most amazing subscription in this channel so we can keep talking about Batman and DC Universe in the future, alright? See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.